Hi, I'm Dr. M. Kamakshaya, open source software evangelist and also a full stack web developer. In this video cast, I'm going to show you how to create plots using Python Flask application. This video cast may be helpful to the individuals who is engaging in creating the web application in which they would like to keep a few dashboards in which usually whenever we are creating a dashboard in a web application, we need to populate the dashboard with the help of some few plots. Maybe plots. These plots arises as a matter of organizational data. We have maybe employee data, products data, or maybe marketing data, financial data. Suppose a firm which is interested in monitoring the financial status may can make the plots related to by using the financial information, something like that. So these dashboards and creating the Python offers really wonderful mechanisms to create the plots, and it is possible for us to populate the entire web browser. Very 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 eye-catching dashboards embedded with the plots and all something like this. So the main aim of this video cast is to demonstrate how to create just a plot, a simple plot. I'm not going to show you how to design a dashboard, and there are custom made libraries just like dash, plotly. There are libraries in Python. I don't have the time to handle all these concepts. Dash in Python. You got let's say plotly dash overview. Plotly is a very powerful visualization library available for the Python developers. Python is very popular program, getting popular day by day, and catching the huge interest in the data science communities. So I'm not going to deal with the the full-blown dashboards. I'm just going to show you how to create a plot and get it into the browser. So maybe in my future videos, if I have time, I can design a corporate level dashboard and show you something. So to start with, one need to know how to. So I'm not going to explain how to create the plot using Python, but I'm going to show you how to create the plot inside the Flask application and get that image into the browser. So this is all the aim of it. By the way, so to create the plots, we need to have data. So what my strategy is going to be like this. I'm going to create an application, Flask application. By the way, I assume that the viewers knows the fundamentals of the Flask web development using Python Flask. At least you should know how to create a project directory and create a server file, and then templates, kind of these basics. I assume that the viewers are acquainted with the few basics of. So earlier I created a video in which I've shown how to upload the CSV file, Excel or CSV file, whatever it is, by using a Python library called pandas. There were so many comments against this video, and most of the comments related to one unique problem, that is this application, this strategy which is followed in this video cast is not useful to upload the data file from the other directories. Other means the directory which is not the project directory. Usually whenever we are creating a Flask application, we create a project directory. We keep all the server and front templates and server logic, physical as well as logical scripts inside the same directory. I was not having this point in my brain that I need to keep the data file in some other directory. So as a matter of simplicity, I just kept the file inside the project directory. And there were so many comments here. I like to have the comments. At the same time, I know there is a bit of restlessness in the viewers. So they don't care to tweak the application, and they could have done something extra. They can't expect everything from the creator. When I created this application, that was not the aim. And I don't know, maybe because this is just a free video cast, and people have the right to post anything and everything, whatever they. I am going to read each and everything and see how. Now, to me, they're all. What you have done is actually reading data from the file that is already in your app directory to do real uploads. I don't know what is real upload. To do real upload files in Flask, you can use Flask uploads. That is not required. I don't know whoever written this. My answer is that is not required. You can still keep your application as simple as possible, as I was done in this video cast. You don't need Flask uploads. Maybe, I don't know, if somebody find some kind of complex, if they want to, if the user really required to add some complexity to the existing functionality, yes, of course, you can go for it, but that is not required, that is not mandatory, that is not a necessity. Maybe if it has much advanced, maybe certainly Flask uploads library might be having some certain features which a base application may not be able to provide. So in that case, but for this simple activity, I mean, just to upload a CSV file or Excel file, we don't need Flask uploads. And then there is something called this doesn't actually upload a file. No, it is not true. It uploads a file. This won't work if you delete the CSV file from the main working directory. Yes, if you delete the CSV file from the main working directory, yes, obviously. Not only this, and no, any program will not be. You need to have a CSV file somewhere, either in the working directory or in some other directory. You don't need to have the file in the working directory. It is not working directory. It is a project directory or a home directory for the project. You can have anywhere else in your computer. You don't need to have. That is okay. But if you delete the file, you may not. Where is the point of uploading the file when the file is deleted from the working directory or any other directory? It is actually a meaningless. Doesn't actually upload a file. No, it uploads a file. And then okay, thank you very much for representing and helping me a lot. Is there a way it can read CSV file from a location and post the same data to the? Yes, there is a way. There is not a way, actually. There are many ways. And then great tutorial, clear explanation. Have a quick issue, submission of the CSV file and submit button doesn't post. That is whoever it is, actually, my dear. Let me see, working with Flask, even for that matter, web development is not an easy task. For every simple or silly, irrespective of the level of the activity, web development is always a cumbersome task. It is not easy. We need to write the code a couple of times, and at very first instance, when you complete the code, it may not be able to run. It may not be possible for the user to start the server. We have to go back, tweak the code, and troubleshoot, rectify the mistakes, and again restart. So it is do it again and again and again, and in one point in time you will realize what is coding is not, that is actually not the problem of the Python, neither not the problem of the Flask. It is problem of the coding style, design strategy, and resources in availability. There are many things which influence the web development. For data in function, I am getting this error, unbound local error. This is an error. Boss local variable data referenced before assignments. Yes, this is actually a peculiar error that happens, especially when you have placed your statement in an unreasonable fashion, like indented. If the variable is called outside of the indented block, usually this unbound local error happens. That is very silly mistake, and you will come to know after a couple of times. You need to tweak your keep doing things on, and you will know that. And even I do this mistake several times, and I immediately realize my mistake, go back, rectify the code, and then as I'm using Ubuntu OS, when I try to use the code from you, there are something error. I get this file not found error 2, no such file or directory. And reference this win openf. With openf, the response is 500. 500 is actually a client side error, if I'm not wrong. 400 is a server side error. I think there is something went wrong in your client request, and you need to check what went wrong with the client side operation or task. How to manipulate the data and return display output. So this is actually out of the scope. There's a lot of material online, and you can just watch a couple of other videos. So how to give CSV file as input and predict the model. That is again out of the scope. I have a couple of videos in which I explain prediction. I train models for prediction, and there are so many libraries in Python. This is actually a Python thing. It is not a Flask thing. Of course, if you are developing a machine learning or maybe a kind of predictive models inside your web application, yes, of course you can. That is actually part of the strategy, okay, and design of the application. And then display the iris data set. I may not be able to do each and everything and anything and everything. Yeah, you can test yourself as how to take the. I know iris data set. We used to do a lot of analysis on this. This is a very famous data set available for. Please suggest something you want to do. Madam, you have so many video casts online, and you can just pick up one. Maybe if time permits, I should be able to do one for you. Thank you. I have a problem statement. I have used volunteers using Excel, and my issue is to pull the IDs, and this is actually again out of the scope of the video. So like this. So it's again there is an error here. Key error. Yeah, key error is actually an error which arises from the template, especially if you are not able to find the if your CSV file, the name in the form and the request in the server logic doesn't match, and then key error arises. And this is also actually a matter of repetition. You need to repeat a couple of times. Yeah, this is the 400 server level, as I said, is a server side problem. Your server is not able to pick the file from the the template. So something went wrong. Something went wrong while establishing communication between the server and the client. So I may not be able to address each and every issue written as a comment in this video, under this video, but I can do one thing. To me, what it seems to be uploading a CSV file from anywhere else other than the project directory seems to be a potential problem. I mean, the main issue in these comments. So in this video today, I'm going to show you how to upload a CSV file from other directories, not from the home directory or maybe project directory. Already opened my project directory is here. You see I don't have the file, CSV file inside it. I may keep, I may not keep, it doesn't matter. I mean, that is actually, that point is not a matter at all, a matter of interest. It is just I request the viewers to tweak your code or redo it again and again, so that until you realize where you don't need to do anything actually. That is not the fault of you can upload anybody can upload the files from any place in the operating system, irrespective of the project directory. I don't have any template here. Is a dummy directory. I opened this inside my very favorite editor Atom, because it helps me auto finish my statements with the help of inbuilt intelligence mechanisms. Now, without much description, let me start coding the application. As usual, I'm not going to do anything new in this except the strategy. In this video, in this application, I'm just going to show you how to upload the file and keep it inside a folder. I'm not showing you how to get the data to that is the one exception, because that is related to the previous my previous video cast. In this video cast, the aim is different. Anyway, I'm creating a video cast. I thought I should resolve this potential issue by showing that we can upload the file from anywhere else in the operating system. From Flask, okay, import Flask. I do a lot of spelling mistakes. Render, you have to excuse me. Render template. That is because I'm so fast. Request. Okay, and then I also import a library. It's not a library, it's a module called OS, which is useful to create the directories inside the application, because I'm going to upload this to a particular directory called static. Usually in web development we'll be having a couple of folders for static resources, and for code we have Java, CSS for CSS, for design mechanisms, a folder for CSS for design mechanisms, a folder for coding, especially when we are using JavaScript we use a folder for the script files, and we use a folder for the assets, which means some images, sound files, videos. Usually we put them into a static folder. So to create the static folder, I'm going to use this module. Okay, I'm going to instantiate the Flask app. This is how we do that. I assume that you know the fundamental. I'm going to create an app. You call it route or root, whatever it is. I'm just going to keep the route as simple as possible. Since I'm going to use a form inside, this route, I want this route to handle the form, in which case I need to use two very popular HTTP requests. They are called methods in Flask. There are two methods, get and post. Okay, get and post. I'm going to create a Python function which is going to handle the logic part of this route. Okay, index, and here I'll just return a template first. Okay, return render template. I call this as index, and this inside this, it is actually a template inside which I'm going to put the form. Now let me thoroughly finish the rest of the code. Name, if this is the main module, then run the app run, and run it in debug mode. Okay, I don't have this template. I'm just going to create. My templates folder is empty. I called it as index, so I need to define the name as index.html, and here I can just, I don't need everything. Let me use a div tag. Okay, I don't need entire HTML template inside this page, HTML page. Inside this div I just create a form, tag and action, nothing for time being, method post. But one thing, there is something called end type, especially when it is not required for it is not required every time. Whenever we want to deal with, suppose if you have very simple tags like in text inputs, or you don't require encryption type. But if this application is intended to handle if the intention of this application is to handle the files, then we need to have this end type. There are three options for this. The second one is the right option. Okay, you need to write end type is equal to multi-part. It is not required, but it is always better to keep this statement inside the form tag in order to avoid Flask do some weird errors. Okay, and then input, this is going to be the file input. I want to CSV file. I think I used the same name in my previous video. This name is very important to pull the object handled by this input a component of the HTML template. Now I want to create an input submit. I want to render this name submit on this input submit. That's all. We don't need anything else. And now let me go back to the app route, and I'll try to handle this file here. Now if request, I'm doing the same thing what I did in my last video cast. I'm not doing anything new. The only change is in my previous video I've uploaded the file and displayed the data in the HTML, and here I'm going to save that in a particular folder. That way it is a good I thought it is a better way to make this video cast a bit distinct from the previous video cast. Request method is equal to post, okay, and then file is equal to request dot files and then CSV file. Okay, now as a matter of check, I want to create a checkpoint here. I'll just see if this file is getting imported by this application or not. What I do, return file. This object file has a property called file name. Okay, and if the file is imported, then I should be able to get this message. This template is going to return me the name of the file into the browser. That is actually the indication that, and after that I will show you how to save that file into a static folder. Okay, I think there aren't any mistakes in this. Even if at all, if there are mistakes, we don't need to worry. I'm going to open my PowerShell inside this directory. Where is the command? dir. I'm inside the directory where my app file is there. Now I'm going to start the server. Let me see. Yeah, the server is started. Now let me take you to the browser. So usually the Flask applications are available from the port number 5000, localhost 5000. Now you see my template was rendered in the browser. Now you see, be careful, I don't have the CSV file inside the project directory. I mean, somebody written this as working directory. I don't know what it is. This is the project directory. I don't have the CSV file. I have the CSV file somewhere in my partition, starting of the, in my drive, and 1 2 3 4 I need to go 3 steps back from the existing directory in order to catch the file. Okay, my file is here, test.csv, and I have my here file upload and plot. This is my project directory. Okay, now what I need to do, I'm just going to go back to the browser. Now choose file. Where do I go now? I think I'm going to my D partition where the CSV file is there. Upload, submit. You see, I got the name of the file. So I'll just change this as a matter of belief. I don't know. I'll make a string, format string here. The file name of the uploaded file is, okay, this is just this is how I format this file name. Okay, so I can also make a kind of okay, fine, go back. I refresh my server is still running. See here, it is still running. So refresh so that I get rid of that file. Choose file. So I'm going to, please be cautious that file is not there in my working directory, home directory, project directory. Now when I submit, you see the file name of the uploaded file is test.csv. It is happening. Okay, you don't need to have the file in your project directory. So that is actually a meaningless, only thing is we need to tweak the application until we get what we decide to do. So that is what is expected. Okay, now as I said, I'm going to save this file so as to get you into my hold. You may be thinking that I'm just doing some gimmicks. I'm just spewing a statement into the browser. It is not like that. I literally take that file from my local file system to this application, inside this application, and here my strategy is going to be like this. I create a file by using this module OS, and I'll see that this file goes to that static file. Okay, now the file is there inside. Here I create a if not OS path is dir. By the way, you need to know these comments, and the objective of this videocast is not to teach fundamentals of Python. These are actually the fundamentals of Python. Static, and then OS make dir static. Now what you do, create a file path. Okay, I'm going to create a file path, OS path join static and then I'll just use the same name of the file. We have a lot of strategies here. It is all just a matter of the user interest. You can just create one a kind of name for the file, and you can also make use of the same name. Now what I do, I use file name. Okay, so that the file with the same name goes and sits in this static directory. Now this file object has a property called save. This is the object, file object. Now this file is literally there in this object. So that is what I am trying to prove here. This file object has an attribute or a method called save. Now file pass. Okay, and I'll leave this helper message. This message is going to help me if at all the file got imported or not. So this is, I think, is sufficient. So my server should be running. Yeah, it is still running. I'll close the server and start once again, because there are significant changes in the code. It is always better to restart the server so as to cache the changes in the. Now what happens, I'll just open the browser. Please be cautious here. I'm just I restarted my server. I refresh my application. Now you see here there is no folder called static. See here, left top corner of the project. Now soon after I import the file, there must be a new directory. This application is going to create a new directory with a name static, and the file which I am uploading should be there inside the directory. Choose file, test.csv. now submit. You see here static, and now the file is there inside that. This directory or the folder is a new folder created by the application, and inside the file is there. Now the file has been uploaded to the application. It is there inside the it is one of the assets of this of the application. It is now the asset inside the application, and there is this message printed into the browser. Now let me take you to the file system. See here static, and there is file, and earlier there was no, I was not having this folder, and there wasn't any file inside that. This file has come to the application from here, from the partition D. So so the issue that it is not possible to, we need file upload library. It is not possible to upload the file from the other directories in the computer. No, they're all not true. It is possible to upload the file from anywhere in your computer. You don't need to have but you need to have the file. And there was so if you delete the file and you cannot upload, yeah, if I delete this file, and I should have this file somewhere. I can delete this file test.csv from the project directory, but somewhere I should have that file in my computer. So without a file we can't upload the file. We need to have the file. Okay, now the second part of the video, that I'm going to create a plot. Actually that is actually the main name of this video. Anyway, I got the file here, so it is there in static inside this directory static folder static, and the name of the file is test.csv. Here I need a library called, two libraries. One library which is pandas, import pandas as pd, and then sorry, this is always happens, I don't know, pd. There is another library to make the plot, that is import matplotlib.py plot as plt. So these are all, actually I cannot explain. They are fundamentals of Python. In data science we use matplotlib, a module pyplot inside the library matplotlib. This is just an alias I am creating. So instead of writing the full name, I just that is one mechanism which really helps the programmers to. And now here file, after I save the file, now I'll retrieve that data. See, let me show you what is there inside this. You see, this is actually a comma separated value file. There are 4 variables or columns first name of the first column is x1, name of the second column is x2, x3, x4, so on and so forth. Now these are the values. Now what I do, I'll just give a facility. I'm going to build a feature in my application so that the user can input the name of the variable, and based on the name of the variable, the user should be able to create the plot. Okay, and in which case I think I need to go for a route, because I need to make a form, right? I cannot carry on the same. I can create the plot here, there is no problem, but if I want to give an option to the I have to go for the route, app route. Better I create a route and I call it as dash. Okay, and now I'm going to add logic to this route. Now the router I call same name dash, and here I need to get that data. I use the pandas. Data is equal to PD. I think I need a variable from the, and this route is going to handle the form. I need to use methods is equal to get post. So whenever we have the form in action, we need to use this HTTP request, and now I call variable is equal to request dot form, and then I call it as variable in the form. I'll give you an input tag with the name variable. Now PD read CSV. See, it is there inside the static directory, so I'm going to use this. I'm not going to use the, there are different ways to get this data into this object. I'm going to use the same full path here, static test.csv. okay, so since this is a simple application, I'm just using like this. There are ways to create this. You can use URL for something like that. If you you can just use absolute paths or relative paths using OS module. There are many ways, so I don't want to make my, I'm just clearly mentioning the things. Okay, there are many ways. It is not the only way. The way which I'm using is not the only way. There are many ways to create this instance. It's not an instance actually, it's an object data, and this is my way. This may not be your way. So you have so many dynamic ways to get the data into this. As I'm telling you, you can make use of, users can make use of this module OS in order to get a dynamic paths here, but I don't want to spend further. Now what happens, I'll use plt plot, and now data, and in this data that variable is there. So this is the variable. Suppose if user choice is x1, which is the x1 is the first variable, then this particular thing is going to be data x1. That is, this is actually pandas object data frame, and in this data frame there is a variable. Okay, in case if you want to know what is the type of this data, then you can also plot, and then I need to create a path for this so that my image, there are many ways to do this activity. Once again I'm telling you, creating an image, there are many ways, and I am going in a very simple way. There are other ways. Those ways might be much simpler than me, but I like this way, very straightforward way. So what is that way? I'm just going to create a plot and save that inside the static folder and use that image to retrieve in the browser. So that is my way. And then image path is equal to OS path join, and then I call static because I want to save that inside this folder. Then I need to give a name. I'll just can I give there are many ways to do this actually. Once again, maybe I can call image plus dot png. So I want to save the image in this format, png format. So this is just going to be the static / image.png. That is what is the path. Okay, and then this thing plt has got a method called save figure. Plt save fig, and then image path. Now after this, I will just return a message. It is not return a message. I'll return. I render a template. Render template. I call it as dash .html. And now the image is image path. Okay. And now this one. Where do we need to have the? No, I'll call it as yeah, I think I did a mistake here. If request method is equal to post. If we post the information, if the user posts the information, and then the variable, take the variable from the form and create the data, and then plot the data. Plot the data, and then create an image path, a path for the image. I don't know why it is coming like this. Okay, and then save the file in that path. I don't know what is happening here. And then return this dash. Now I call this as image.html. okay, I'm going to create this too, and then there is a main template that is going to be render template dash.html. So why? Because in this template there is a form to handle this variable of the user choice, and there is another template image which I'm going to use to pull this graph from the static folder. So this is all the logic. Now what I do is I create these two templates inside this. One is the image.html. This is going to create the plot image. Yeah, you can do a lot of decorations here. You can create a div tag and create this here. You can just create a paragraph, lorem ipsum, and then come here and you call it a image tag, and here you need to put the image. This image is nothing but the path, path to the image that which we are going to create inside the static folder. And you can also you can just create a kind of style and all everything. You can do a hell lot of. Again, another plan. I'll put a dummy text here. Okay, so just I'm going to anything and everything, whatever you want. That is actually a design strategy. Now let me restart because there's a lot of change in the code. I'm going to start the server here, and yeah, everything is okay. Yeah, there is another template actually. I'm extremely sorry. The other template is dash.html. In this we are going to have the an input, a form, and this form has an action. That action is just going to be the dash. So after submission it is going to redirect this form to the dash template. Now what can I do? I want to create a text input, and here it is going to be variable. I think I use the name variable here. Yeah, variable. So, and submit button, import submit, value is submit. This is just a name, submit. Here this is just the form which helps us, which helps the user to exercise his choice for the variable. So after submitting this form, and it creates the image, and image is displayed here. Okay, that is what is the strategy. Now I again restart the server so that I can keep the changes up to date. Let's go to the, and here see the changes in my project. You should be able to see the image being created under this directory. Now go to, I'll refresh, choose the file. Okay, open. Nothing is done until I submit. Nothing will happen to the directory until I submit. I'm going to submit now. Submit. The file is uploaded. File is something went wrong, and figure is not saved. Okay, so let me go to dash. So we still have the step, right? I'm going to use x1, very first column in the CSV file. submit. I think something, yeah, you see here now the image. Here inside the static folder we got the image, and now this is just a bullshit design. Don't worry, this is not a super awesome. I just want a dummy, and then I want to show you some kind of you can add anything. So now there is image inside. I'll just change this into a bit suppose imagine that this is sales information or something else. There is a method called bar plot. I think it is a plt bar, I guess. Let me just make the, I'm just going to make instead of plot, it is a scatter diagram, right? I call it as bar, and then I need two inputs for this: a range with the length of data variable length, and then so range. I'm just going to create a range of numbers which is of the length equal the length equal with the variable which we are using to plot the data, and now it is going to be the bar diagram. Let's main thread is not in main. Let me close this. No, I don't need to start this server every time. Only during the time of development we need to do this. It's not a production environment, it's just a development environment. Yeah, now let me take you to the, now go to the, so the file is already there, we don't need to, I'll just go to the dash. Okay, now I'll come here to the, let me minimize and see what's happening here. I just want, yeah, you got the file. File is not being created. I think it is not overwriting. Let me go back to the Python file upload, the multi-guy outside the main thread will be file range. I think there is a problem here. Let me Control Shift delete. I'll clear the cache, so that cache memory in the browser, so that let me, yeah, I'll go for dash. Now x1, yeah, I think there's a problem actually doing the save fig, because this figure is there. I need to, a figure is being created. Yeah, figure is being created, but what is the problem then? If the figure is there, what is the problem? Figure is there. Main thread is not in main loop. What do you mean? Save fig image path. Actually, we need to get rid of that image. Runtime error. Let me actually delete this. No, we don't need to do. We can do that as a part of. I can provide that inside the logic. X1. Yeah, there's a runtime error because I think the problem is here. Here things are not happening. If it is not happening here, then how come? Let me go for 1, 2, 3, 4. I can do one thing. Let me go for here. I will try to print let me take size, data, len, data, and variable. Now I'll use len here, size here, so that we'll be having this is yeah, now it is coming. See, the problem is in the code actually, not in the logic. the statement. Actually, I did a mistake by unnecessarily enclosing too many statements inside a single statement. That is actually, now it is we can still tweak this image further, but we can get the labels, and we can also add further beautifications. This is sufficient for this video cast. I resolved an issue that I addressed an issue which is raised in one of my previous videos, that the files cannot be uploaded to the project directory if the file is not inside the directory. It's not true. You can upload the file from anywhere in your computer. You don't need to have the CSV file inside your project directory. You can have anywhere as well. And the other thing is, this is how we can just get, this is the power of Python. This demonstrates the power of Python. Python is such a cool programming language which has quite a few methods. It is very easy to create the PDF documents, images like this, progress, especially if the interest of the application. I mean the developers has huge amount of freedom in using vast number of Python libraries, because it is open source and community based driven programming language. We have thousands and thousands of libraries. All those libraries are free for every petty needs of the developers. So just like I created the image, we can also create the suppose if I want to create a PDF file, I can do that. There are libraries. And if I want to process some sound file, images, some kind of audio files, I can do that. There are libraries. And I can also process the real-time video data. Suppose if some video graphic data is streaming to my computer, I can catch it, and server, I can catch it and process that and use some machine learning algorithms. So unending opportunities. There are unending possibilities, and huge number of possibilities, unending opportunities as far as Python is concerned for the web development. Thanks for watching this video. This is for this video. Stay tuned for the new content, and please subscribe to my video channel.